all of this talk about getting out of the boat, I wonder if I've given the impression or if it's been perceived that getting out of the boat is the goal of our lives. It's not. Getting out of the boat is not the goal of our lives. It's a means to an end, but it's not the end itself. It's a training. It's a practice for something more. We have to ask ourselves, why did Jesus ask Peter to get out of the boat, to walk upon the water? It's not as if that was Jesus's goal for Peter's life. It wasn't. But it was a means to an end. Jesus was trying to teach Peter to trust him. And imagine Peter after that time, after the time that he did walk on water, even after the time that he sank beneath the water and Jesus pulled him back up. Imagine Peter's trust in Jesus after that. What couldn't he trust Jesus with when Jesus had shown him that he was the Messiah, that he had that kind of power? Yes, I know that Peter would fail many more times in his life, and he never had perfect faith. But he would come to a time in his life when he would reach the goal. And the goal would be that he would give everything, that he would give his entire life to Jesus. That was the goal of his life. And Peter finally got to that point. Just as you and I, the goal of our lives is to be united with Jesus both on earth and in heaven forever. That there would come a time in our life where we would be heroic enough, where we would say, Jesus, I trust you enough that I would give everything. There's a man in our church that we celebrate today who did just that. This famous story of a man named Father Maximilian Kolbe. Father Maximilian Kolbe was a priest during World War II. He was protecting Jews away from the Gestapo, away from Hitler's army. And at that time, he was arrested. He was taken to Auschwitz. While he was in Auschwitz, there was a prisoner who escaped, or at least that was the story. Found out later that story was dubious. But Commandant Fritz came into his bunker, came into the bunker where Maximilian Kolbe was with a bunch of other men who were starving. And he came in there and he said, someone escaped, and I'm going to make an example so that no one else has the audacity to escape this camp. So he chose 10 men to die, among them a man named Franciszek Gajowkinczek. And immediately Franciszek stood up and started yelling and screaming for his wife, for his children. And just at that, in his hysteria, very calmly and very confidently stood up Father Maximilian Kolbe, and he said, I will take his place. There's many more details to that story, but Father Max would take his place. He would go into the starvation bunker, and the exchange was accepted. He went to the starvation bunker with the 9 other men, and he would eventually give his life for Franciszek. That heroic example, we have to ask ourselves, how did Father Max get to that point in his life where so calmly he could just stand up and without a second thought say, I'll take his place? How did he get to that point? How did he get to that heroic moment when he would give everything? The only way that he got there was that he got out of the boat so many more times during his life, and his entire life was given over to the Lord and trusting him. He grew in trust over and over throughout his life until he got to the point where he could be somebody else's hero. That's the story of getting out of the boat. Getting out of the boat is a preparation. It's a practice for the rest of our lives. That's why we can't deny it right now. We have to get out of the boat so we can finally come to that point in our life when Jesus is going to ask us to be a priest, to be a religious sister, to give ourselves faithfully in holy matrimony, maybe to even give ourselves as martyrs, maybe to stand up in the midst of this culture and say, where are the bold Catholics? Where are the bold Catholic leaders in politics? Where are they at? Where are they at in these huge companies across America, across the entire world? Where are the bold Catholics who are standing up for who Jesus is, for what his church professes to believe, who are standing up as witnesses, who are willing to give everything, even their reputation, even their money, maybe even their lives, for the good of the gospel, for the salvation of souls? We want heroic examples in our life of that. That's why we keep telling these stories for those who finally came to the point of their life when they would give everything. I'm asking you to be all in. By being all in, to get out of the boat, to walk upon that water, to put your trust in Jesus, to keep your eyes fixed on him. And when you get out there, to keep walking. Guys, this isn't the end. Getting out upon the water is not the end. It's only the beginning. We're just starting. We're practicing. We're preparing ourselves to give everything.